I just took that hose clamp off and just kind of twisted my bolts back in there a little bit, just enough to know that I had something on that when I put it back together. I try to do it that way when I get a chance. I'm going to take these two off and hopefully this piece comes off without any problems. I got this little thing off here, the two bolts that hold that on, and we got that kind of hanging out of the way for the moment. And we got two push bolts, or these little collar things that you got to push those in. You got to push this little collar in that direction and then pull this hose out. So you got to push the hose in and the collar, and then you can pull the hose out. We got two of them like that on here. And then of course we're going to unplug the speedometer. Well, I got a little bit of a problem. We have two identical plugs and different colors of wires here, so I don't want to make any mistakes putting it back together. I don't know if it matters or not. Probably does. The wires are different colors. I'm going to take a small wire tie or a piece of tape or anything and put it around both sides of this one that's still connected, and then that way it'll help me identify how it goes back together. I got all my bolts off from all the way around except the top one in the middle and the bottom one in the middle, and that man at the transmission shop told me to knock these dowel pins through to the other side, but it's not moving. All it's doing is starting to mushroom. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go get some emery cloth or sandpaper and clean all that off of there, and get that nice and clean, so that and put some grease on it, so this hopefully will slide off of there. That's just the radiator drain pan. There's another drain plug over here on this side, but I don't think I'm going to mess with that one. I'm hoping we'll get enough oil out of this one. To press this case off of here, we've got a couple of smaller holes that are threaded, and it looks like the same bolts that come out of everything will thread into those holes and push this off of there. One up there, I just sprayed some oil inside the hole. I already blew air in it to clean it out. There is a threaded hole there, and I'm going to go ahead and thread this screw in it, or bolt. I threaded this one in already and started, it bottomed out, started to push the case off. Well, I'm probably 20 minutes later and I'm having issues. Had to put some of these bolts back in because one side was coming out too far and this side wasn't coming out at all. So I had to put a couple of bolts back in over here to pull it back in, and then drive this bolt through to pull this out, and it did. But what it did was it pulled this dowel pin out of the main case. The dowel pin is supposed to stay in the main case, and it's not staying. And I just found out that this side up here is still sticking tight, and I found another threaded hole here, so I'm cleaning that hole out right now so I can drive another bolt in that one and see if we can pull. I didn't know we had 3 of them. I got a truck transmission jack under this gearbox, and I got some wood situated up there that you can't see from this angle, but I'll get around to the other side where you can see. I just had to set some blocks of wood in different positions and on top of each other and just work it out in a way. I can't really videotape exactly what I did, but I'm ready to start lifting on this. And of course this jack has well, that screw handle right there will tilt this thing up and down like this, and so I can make that adjust and fit that. That piece really shouldn't be that heavy, but I don't know what it weighs. I'm going to say, from what I saw at the transmission shop when he showed me some of those, I'm sure it's going to be 120, 140 pounds. It could be 200 pounds, I don't know. I'll find out, but I'm not a big enough guy to wrestle with that without a jack upside down underneath this truck. I got it separated and I got it sitting on the transmission jack, but I'm running out of room back here. I didn't know how far out it had to go, and I'm going to have to move this tank, this air tank. I got to unbolt that and move it out of the way because I need a few more inches and can't get them. I didn't know it had this many gears hanging out the front side of it. I'm clear of the big transmission, but all of this extra weight of all those gears was just falling forward. The whole thing was falling forward, so I ended up taking a ratchet strap and going around the transmission yoke and tying it on to the back side of this plate here to hold it down, and I think I can do something with it now to get it off. Got it down. Now all I gotta do is get it out of there. I may have to jack the truck up higher than what it is to get it out. It's pretty tall on there. We'll see. Looks like I should be able to get it out here by turning the wheel all the way in. I thought maybe I was going to have to take the tire off, but I think I can pull it out of there now with two hands. Got that gear case off. Wish I knew exactly what I was looking at, but I got to take it to the transmission shop and see if he can find out what happened to it, or if my problem is even in here. If it's not in here, I got to take the rest of the transmission down and bring it to him. The stuff he showed me, I think I'm seeing, but it doesn't look bad. So I'm not sure, unless it has another one of these back inside there that I can't see. That might be the case. I'm not seeing a whole lot here to bother me, except all of this metal piled up around that magnetic plug there, all that metal filings and powder. I don't like that, but I might take this gear, I might take that gear off and show that to him and see what he says when I bring this into him.